Listen to me. When you wake up in the morning, you got a choice. You can hit snooze, or you can chase your dream. And most people, they hit snooze on their life. But you said you want something different. Let me tell you something. Success is not for the weak. It's not for the ones who try when they feel good. It's for the grinders. The ones who show up when they're tired, when they're broke, when nobody believes in them. You got to understand, it's not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's about discipline. It's about showing up every single day. You say you want to win, then stop waiting for perfect conditions. There is no perfect time. There's only now. I need you to grind when it's hard. Grind when you don't see results. Grind when people laugh at you. Grind when you feel like quitting. Because let me tell you something. The difference between average and greatness is this. Average people stop. Great people keep going. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more opportunities. You need more execution. So I'm telling you right now, go get it. If you're hungry, stay hungry. If you fall, get back up. And whatever you do, never stop. Grinding discipline is the foundation that separates those who only train from those who actually achieve. Motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls depending on how you feel, your environment, your energy, and even the people around you. One day you feel unstoppable, ready to conquer everything in front of you, and the next day you feel drained, distracted, and unprepared. If your actions depend on motivation, then your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline, on the other hand, does not ask how you feel. It demands action regardless of your emotional state. Think about how most people approach their goals. They wait to feel ready. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right moment. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel motivated. But that moment often never comes, or when it does, it doesn't last long. And this is why so many people start strong and then fade away. They confuse motivation with commitment. Motivation is temporary. It's a spark. Discipline is permanent. It's the system that keeps the fire burning even when the spark is gone. Discipline is built on decisions, not emotions. It is the act of choosing what matters most over what feels good in the moment. It is waking up early when your body wants more sleep. It's working on your goals when distractions are calling your name. It's staying focused when everything inside you wants to quit. Discipline is not easy, and it's not supposed to be. It requires sacrifice, patience, and a willingness to do what others won't. The truth is, discipline creates freedom. At first, it feels restrictive. It feels like you are forcing yourself into a routine, limiting your choices and denying yourself comfort. But over time, discipline gives you control. It allows you to take charge of your life instead of reacting to it. When you are disciplined, you no longer depend on external factors to determine your actions. You become consistent, reliable, and focused. You become someone who can be trusted, not just by others, but by yourself. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it requires extreme effort all the time. In reality, discipline is about small, repeated action. It is about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It is about building habits that align with your goals. These habits might seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they compound into massive results. The person who works consistently for 1 hour every day would outperform the person who works intensely for 10 hours once in a while. Discipline also strengthens your mind. Every time you choose to act discomfort, you build mental resilience. You teach yourself that you are capable of pushing through challenge. You reduce the power of excuses. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes normal. What once required effort becomes automatic. This is how discipline transforms from something you struggle with into something that defines you. Another important aspect of discipline is accountability. When you rely on motivation, you often make promises to yourself that you don't keep. You say you will start tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week, then next month. Discipline requires you to hold yourself accountable regardless of your mood. It means keeping your word to yourself. And when you consistently follow through on your commitments, you build self-respect. You start to see yourself as someone who does what they say they will do. Discipline also eliminates the need for constant decision-making. When you rely on motivation, every action becomes a debate. You ask yourself whether you feel like doing it. You negotiate with yourself. You delay. But when you are disciplined, the decision is already made. You don't waste energy thinking about whether you should act. You simply act. This reduces mental fatigue and allows you to focus on execution. There will be days when everything feels difficult, days when progress is slow, when results are invisible, when doubt creeps in. These are the moments where discipline matters most. Anyone can work when they feel good. Anyone can push forward when results are visible. But real growth happens when you continue despite uncertainty. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward during those moments. It is also important to understand that discipline is not about perfection. You will make mistakes. You will have days where you fall short. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be consistent. Discipline means getting back on track quickly. It means not allowing one bad day to turn into a bad week or a bad month. It means staying committed to the process even when you stumble. Discipline also requires clarity. You need to know what you are working toward and why it matters. Without a clear purpose, it becomes easy to give in to distractions and excuses. When your goals are meaningful, discipline becomes easier to maintain because you understand the cost of inaction. You realize that every moment you waste is a moment you cannot get back. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it builds confidence, not the kind of confidence that comes from temporary success, but the kind that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. When you consistently show up and put in the work, you develop a quiet confidence. You don't need validation from others because you know the effort you are putting in. You trust the process and you trust yourself. Discipline also changes how you view challenge. Instead of avoiding difficulty, you begin to embrace it. You understand that challenges are part of the journey. You stop looking for shortcuts and start focusing on growth. This shift in mindset is crucial because it allows you to stay committed even when things don't go as planned. In a world full of distractions, discipline is more valuable than ever. There are endless opportunities to waste time, to procrastinate, to avoid responsibility. Without discipline, it is easy to get lost in these distractions. But with discipline, you can stay focused on what truly matters. You can stay focused on what truly matters. You can prioritize your goals and make steady progress. Discipline is also what separates those who start from those who finish. Many people begin with excitement and enthusiasm, but only a few have the discipline to see things through. Finishing requires persistence. It requires the ability to keep going long after the initial excitement has faded. It requires a commitment to the process, not just the outcome. It's important to recognize that discipline is a skill. It is not something you are born with. It is something you develop over time. You build it by making small, consistent choices. You strengthen it by pushing through resistance. And like any skill, it becomes stronger with practice. One way to build discipline is by creating structure in your life. Establish routines that support your goals. Remove unnecessary distractions. Set clear expectations for yourself. When your environment supports your discipline, it becomes easier to stay consistent. You reduce the number of obstacles that stand in your way. Another key element is self-awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you are most likely to lose focus. Identify your triggers and weaknesses. Once you understand these patterns, you can create strategies to overcome them. Discipline is not just about forcing yourself to act. It is also about understanding yourself and making adjustments. Discipline also requires patience. Results take time. There will be periods where it feels like nothing is happening, but if you remain consistent, progress will come. It may not be immediate, but it will be inevitable. Discipline teaches you to trust the process, even when the outcome is uncertain. There is also a level of sacrifice involved in discipline. You may have to give up certain comforts, certain habits, certain distractions. You may have to say no to things that others say yes to. But these sacrifices are not losses. They are investments. You are trading short-term pleasure for long-term success. Discipline also influences the people around you. When others see your consistency, your focus, your commitment, it sets a standard. It creates an environment where excellence becomes the norm. Your discipline can inspire others, but more importantly, it reinforces your own identity. At its core, discipline is about control. control over your actions, your time, your focus, and your decisions. It is about taking responsibility for your life and refusing to let external factors dictate your path. It is about showing up, doing the work, and staying committed regardless of circumstances. When you rely on discipline instead of motivation, you remove uncertainty. You create stability in your actions. You build momentum. And over time, that momentum leads to results. Not because you felt like it, but because you decided to do it anyway. This is what makes discipline so powerful. It does not depend on how you feel. It does not wait for the right moment. It does not make excuses. It simply demands action again and again until the results speak for themselves. Consistency is what transforms effort into results. It is the quiet force that operates behind every success story, often unnoticed but always essential. While bursts of hard work can create temporary progress, only consistent action creates lasting change. It is not what you do once in a while that shapes your future, but what you do repeatedly, day after day, even when it feels insignificant. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because its effects are not immediate. When you put in work today, you may not see results tomorrow. When you repeat the same effort for a week, it might still feel like nothing is changing. This delay can be discouraging, and it is the reason many people quit early. They expect quick results, and when those results don't appear, they assume their efforts are not working. But consistency does not operate on short-term rewards. It builds momentum over time, often in ways that are invisible at first. Think of consistency like planting seeds. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You water it, protect it, and give it time. For a while, it seems like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, growth is taking place. Roots are forming, strength is building, and eventually that growth becomes visible. The same principle applies to any goal. Your daily actions are the seeds, and consistency is what allows them to grow. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is that it compounds. Small efforts repeated over time create results that are far greater than the sum of their parts. Consistency requires a shift in mindset. You have to learn to value repetition. You have to understand that mastery is built through practice, not variation. You have to embrace the process, not just the outcome. When you focus on the process, consistency becomes easier because you are not constantly chasing results. You are simply doing the work. Another key aspect of consistency is prioritization. You cannot be consistent in everything, so you must choose what matters most. Identify the actions that have the greatest impact on your goals and commit to them. Eliminate or reduce activity that do not contribute to your progress. This focus allows you to direct your energy where it is most effective. Consistency also requires patience. Progress takes time, and there will be periods where it feels slow or even stagnant. During these times, it is easy to lose motivation and question whether your efforts are worth it. But this is where consistency proves its value. It allows you to continue moving forward even when results are not immediately visible. It is important to celebrate small wins along the way. While consistency is focused on long-term progress, acknowledging short-term achievements can help maintain momentum. These small victories serve as reminders that your efforts are paying off, even if the larger goal is still far away. Consistency also influences your environment. When you consistently take action, you begin to shape your surroundings in a way that supports your goals. You attract opportunities, build relationships, and create systems that reinforce your progress. Over time, your environment becomes aligned with your efforts, making it easier to stay consistent. Another important factor is accountability. Sharing your goals with others, tracking your progress can help reinforce consistency. When you know that someone else is aware of your commitments, you are more likely to follow through. Even self-accountability, such as keeping a record of your actions, can make a significant difference. Consistency also teaches you the value of persistence. There will be moments when you feel like quitting, when progress seems too slow, or when obstacles feel overwhelming. But by continuing to show up, you develop the ability to push through these moments. You learn that quitting is not the only option. You realize that progress is often just one step beyond where most people give up. It is also important to adapt while remaining consistent. Consistency does not mean blindly repeating the same actions without improvement. It means maintaining regular effort while continuously learning and refining your approach. This balance allows you to stay committed while also evolving. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum makes everything easier. When you are in motion, it is easier to stay in motion. When you stop, it becomes harder to start again. This is why it is so important to maintain consistency, even at a small level. A little progress is better than none because it keeps the momentum alive. Another powerful aspect of consistency is that it creates a sense of stability. In a world that is often unpredictable, consistent actions provide a sense of control. They give you something to rely on, something that remains constant regardless of external circumstances. This stability can be incredibly valuable, especially during challenging times. Consistency also helps you overcome fear. When you repeatedly take action, fear begins to lose its power. What once felt intimidating becomes familiar. You gain confidence through experience. And that confidence allows you to take on bigger challenges. At its core, consistency is about commitment. It is about deciding that your goals are important enough to pursue every day. It is about valuing progress over comfort, action over hesitation, and persistence over excuses. It is about understanding that success is not a single event, but a series of actions repeated over time. Even if you try to avoid struggle, you will face a different kind of difficulty. The struggle of stagnation, regret, and unfulfilled potential. The question is not whether you will struggle, but what kind of struggle you are willing to endure. The struggle of growth leads to progress, while the struggle of avoidance leads to dissatisfaction. Struggle also reveals your true character. When things are easy, it is simple to stay committed and positive, but when things become difficult, your mindset is tested. Do you give up, or do you keep going? Do you make excuses, or do you take responsibility? These moments define who you are. They shape your identity and determine the direction of your life. It is also through struggle that you develop patience. In a world that often values instant gratification, struggle teaches you to wait, to persist, and to trust the process. It reminds you that meaningful achievements take time. This patience is essential because it allows you to stay committed even when results are not immediate. Another powerful benefit of struggle is that it builds appreciation. When you work hard for something, when you face challenges and overcome them, you value the result more. Success that comes easily is often taken for granted, but success that is earned through struggle carries a deeper meaning. It represents not just the outcome, but the journey you went through to achieve it. Struggle also encourages creativity and problem solving. When you encounter obstacles, you are forced to think differently. You have to find new ways to approach the situation, new strategies to overcome challenges, This process sharpens your mind and expands your abilities. It pushes you to become more resourceful and adaptable. It is important to note that embracing struggle does not mean seeking unnecessary hardship. It means accepting the difficulty that comes with pursuing something meaningful. It means not running away when things get tough. It means understanding that discomfort is part of the journey and choosing to move forward anyway. One of the biggest barriers to embracing struggle is fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. These fears can prevent you from taking action and from pushing yourself. But struggle helps you confront these fears. It forces you to face them, to move through them, and to realize that they are not as powerful as they seem. Struggle also builds humility. It reminds you that you do not have all the answers, that there is always more to learn. It keeps you grounded and open to growth. This humility is important because it allows you to continue improving rather than becoming complacent. Another key aspect is that struggle creates contrast. Without difficulty, you would not recognize progress. Without challenges, success would not feel meaningful. Struggle gives context to your achievements. It allows you to see how far you have come and to appreciate the journey. It is also through struggle that you develop endurance. The ability to keep going even when things are hard is one of the most valuable traits you can have. Endurance is not about being the fastest or the strongest. It is about being the one who does not stop. It is about staying in the game long enough to see results. Struggle can also be a source of motivation, but not in the traditional sense. Instead of relying on excitement or inspiration, you begin to draw motivation from your commitment. You remind yourself why you started, what you are working toward, and what is at stake. This deeper form of motivation is more stable because it is rooted in purpose rather than emotion. Another important element is learning to manage frustration. When things do not go as planned, it is easy to become discouraged. But frustration, part of the process. It is a signal that you are trying, that you are pushing your limits. If they have never attempted something ambitious, they may believe it is impossible. Their perspective is shaped by their reality, not by your potential. When you understand this, it becomes easier to separate their opinions from your path. One of the most dangerous things you can do is internalize doubt. When someone questions your ability, it can plant a seed in your mind. If you revisit that thought repeatedly, it begins to grow. Over time, it can turn into self-doubt, which is far more limiting than anything someone else can say. But external doubt only has power. It becomes internal. That is why it is essential to protect your mindset and be intentional about what you allow yourself to believe. Ignoring doubters does not mean being arrogant or dismissive of all feedback. There is a difference between constructive criticism and limiting beliefs. Constructive criticism is meant to help you improve. It is specific, actionable, and often comes from people who have experienced or genuine concern for your growth. Doubt, on the other hand, is often vague, negative, and rooted in fear rather than insight. Learning to distinguish between the two is a critical skill. When you choose to ignore doubters, you are making a decision to trust your vision. You are saying that your goals, your dreams, and your efforts are valid, even if others do not understand them. This requires confidence, but not the loud, boastful kind. It requires quiet confidence, the kind that comes from knowing what you want and being willing to work for it, regardless of external validation. It's important to recognize that not everyone will see your vision the way you do. They do not have your experiences, your perspective, or your reasons. Expecting everyone to understand or support your goals can lead to disappointment. Instead, accept that your journey is yours alone. Support is valuable, but it is not a requirement. You can move forward even in the absence of approval. Ignoring doubters also means becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. When you step outside of what is considered normal or safe, people may question your choices. They may not see the bigger picture. They may focus on the risks rather than the possibility. This is part of the process. Innovation, growth, and success often involve going against the grain. Being misunderstood is not a sign that you are wrong. It is often a sign that you are doing something different. Another important aspect is emotional control. When someone doubts you, it can trigger frustration, anger, or the desire to prove them wrong. While these emotions are natural, they can become distractions if not managed properly. Reacting emotionally can shift your focus away from your goals and onto the opinions of others. Ignoring doubters means staying focused on your path and not allowing external negativity to derail your progress. At the same time, doubt can be used as fuel if approached correctly. Instead of letting it discourage you, you can let it motivate you. Not in a way that consumes you or turns into obsession, but in a way that reinforces your commitment. You do not need to prove anything to others, but you can use their doubt as a reminder of why you need to keep going. It is also important to build a strong internal belief system. When you are clear about your goals and confident in your efforts, external doubt becomes less impactful. This belief is not based on blind optimism, but on consistent action. Every time you show up and do the work, you reinforce your belief in yourself. Over time, this becomes stronger than any outside opinion. Ignoring doubters also requires focus. When you pay too much attention to what others think, you divide your energy. Instead of putting all your effort into your work, you spend time and mental energy processing opinions that do not contribute to your progress. By choosing to ignore unnecessary noise, you can direct your full attention toward what truly matters. There will be moments when doubt feels overwhelming, especially if it comes from people close to you. Friends, family, and colleagues may. People spend excessive time planning, researching, and thinking, believing that they need to know everything before they begin. While preparation is valuable, it can easily turn into procrastination when it becomes an excuse to delay action. The truth is that you will never feel completely ready. There will always be more to learn, more to consider, and more to plan. At some point, you have to move from preparation to execution. Starting now does not mean starting perfectly. It means starting with what you have, where you are. It means taking the first step, even if it is small and perfect. Progress does not require perfection. It requires movement. The first step may not be impressive, but it creates momentum. And once you have momentum, it becomes easier to take the next step, and the next, and the next. Action creates clarity. When you begin, you start to see what works and what does not. You learn through experience rather than speculation. You gain insights that you could not have gained through planning alone. Waiting keeps you in a state of uncertainty, but action moves you toward understanding. Even mistakes become valuable because they provide feedback that helps you improve. Another important aspect is that time will pass regardless of what you do. Whether you take action or not, days will turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. The question is not whether time will move forward. It will. The question is whether you will move with it. When you delay action, you are not preserving time. You are losing it. And time is one of the few resources that cannot be recovered. Starting now also builds confidence. Confidence is not something that appears before action. It is something that develops through action. Each step you take, each challenge you face, and each problem you solve contributes to your belief in yourself. Waiting for confidence before you start is a misunderstanding of how confidence works. You gain confidence by doing, not by waiting. There is also a psychological benefit to starting immediately. When you take action, you break the cycle of procrastination. You shift from thinking to doing. This shift is powerful because it changes your mindset. Instead of seeing your goal as something distant and overwhelming, you begin to see it as something you are actively working toward. This sense of progress can be motivating and energizing. Another factor to consider is that opportunities are often time sensitive. While some opportunities can be created, others depend on timing and availability. Waiting too long can result in missed chances. By taking action early, you position yourself to take advantage of opportunities as they arise. You become proactive rather than reactive. Starting now also allows you to build habits earlier. The sooner you begin, the sooner you establish routines and patterns that support your goals. These habits become the foundation of your progress. Delaying action means delaying the development of these habits, which in turn delays your results. It is also important to recognize that conditions rarely improve on their own. Waiting for things to get easier or more favorable is often unrealistic. Challenges will continue to exist, and new ones may arise. By starting now, you learn to work within your current circumstance. You develop the ability to adapt and overcome rather than waiting for a situation that may never come. Another key point is that starting now reduces regret. Many people look back and wish they had started earlier. They realize that the time they spent waiting could have been used to make progress. This regret can be a powerful reminder that action is always better than inaction. By starting now, you avoid the burden of wondering or what if. It is also worth noting that progress is not linear. There will be ups and downs, successes and setbacks. Waiting for a smooth path before you begin is unrealistic. This approach reduces pressure and allows you to make steady progress. Starting now also reinforces the idea that action is within your control. While you cannot control every outcome, you can control your efforts. This understanding allows you to take responsibility for your progress and focus on what you can influence. Another key point is that starting now helps you build a track record. Each action you take adds to your experience and your achievements. This track record becomes evidence of your commitment and your progress. It can also open doors to new opportunities. It's also important to recognize that waiting often leads to overthinking. The more you think without acting, the more doubts and uncertainties you create. Starting now breaks this cycle. It shifts your focus from thinking to doing, which is where real progress happens. Ultimately, starting now is about making a decision. It is about choosing action over hesitation, progress over perfection, and growth over comfort. It is about understanding that the best time to begin is not when everything is perfect, but when you are willing to take the first step despite imperfection. This shift in mindset can make a significant difference in how you experience challenges. Mental toughness also built through repetition. Each time you push through a difficult moment, you strengthen your ability to do it again. It becomes a habit. What once felt impossible becomes manageable, and what once felt overwhelming becomes routine. This is why consistency is so important. It provides repeated opportunity to develop mental strength. Another aspect is patience. Mental toughness is not just about pushing hard. It is also about enduring over time. Some challenges require sustained effort, and results may not be immediate. In these situations, mental toughness allows you to stay committed without becoming discouraged. You understand that progress takes time and that persistence is necessary. It is also important to manage expectations. When you expect everything to be easy, you are more likely to struggle when it is not. But when you anticipate difficulty, you are better prepared to handle it. This does not mean being negative. It means being realistic. It means understanding that challenges are part of the journey and that you are capable of handling them. Another key factor is purpose. When you have a strong reason for what you are doing, it becomes easier to push through difficult moments. Purpose provides motivation that goes beyond temporary feeling. It reminds you why you started and what you are working toward. This deeper sense of meaning can be a powerful source of strength. Mental toughness also involves adaptability. Not every challenge can be overcome with the same approach. Sometimes you need to adjust your strategy, change your perspective, or try something new. Being mentally tough does not mean being rigid. It means being flexible while remaining committed. It means finding a way forward, even if the path changes. Another important aspect is confidence. Mental toughness and confidence are closely related. When you have confidence in your ability to handle challenges, you are more likely to push through them. This confidence is built through experience. Each time you overcome a difficult situation, you reinforce your belief in yourself. It is also important to recognize the role of discomfort. Discomfort is often seen as something to avoid, but it is actually a sign of growth. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you expose yourself to new challenges and opportunities. Mental toughness allows you to embrace this discomfort and use it as a tool for development. Another factor is persistence. Mental toughness is not about never feeling like quitting. It is about continuing despite that feeling. There will be moments when stopping seems like the easiest option. In those moments, persistence becomes critical. It is the decision to take one more step, to complete one more task, to keep going just a little bit longer. Mental toughness also requires self-awareness. Understanding your strengths, weaknesses, and triggers can help you navigate challenges more effectively. When you know what tends to derail you, you can prepare for it. You can develop strategies to stay focused and maintain your momentum. Another important element is control. You cannot control your response. Mental toughness involves focusing on what is within your control and letting go of what is not. This reduces frustration and allows you to direct your energy more effectively. It is also helpful to break challenges into smaller parts. Large tasks can feel overwhelming, especially when you are already struggling. By dividing them into smaller, manageable steps, you make them more approachable. This can reduce stress and make it easier to keep moving forward. Another aspect is accountability. Holding yourself responsible for your actions reinforces mental toughness. When you take ownership of your progress, you are less likely to make excuses. You understand that your actions determine your outcomes, and this understanding drives you to stay consistent. Mental toughness also benefits from routine. When you have a structured approach to your work, it becomes easier to stay on track. Routine reduces uncertainty and creates a sense of stability. It allows you to focus on execution rather than decision-making. Another key factor is learning from experience. Each challenge you face provides valuable lessons. By reflecting on these experiences, you can improve your approach and become more effective. This continuous learning process strengthens your mental resilience. It is also important to maintain perspective. In difficult moments, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and to lose sight of the bigger picture. Mental toughness involves stepping back and reminding yourself that the challenge is temporary and that it is part of a larger journey. Another aspect is energy management. While mental toughness involves pushing through difficulty, it also requires knowing when to rest and recover. Sustainable effort is more effective than constant exhaustion. Taking care of your physical and mental well-being supports your ability to stay strong over time. Mental toughness also involves commitment. It is the decision to stay dedicated to your goals, regardless of obstacles. This commitment provides a foundation that supports you during difficult times. It reminds you that your efforts have meaning and that your goals are worth pursuing. Another important element is courage. It takes courage to continue when things are uncertain, to face challenges head on, and to push beyond your limits. Mental toughness is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Is also helpful to develop a growth mindset. Viewing challenges as opportunities to learn rather than threats to avoid can change how you approach difficulty. This mindset encourages you to take on challenges and to persist through them. Another factor is consistency. Mental toughness is reinforced through regular effort. Each time you show up and push through difficulty, you strengthen your ability to do it again. This creates a cycle of growth and resilience. Mental toughness also requires focus on the present. Thinking too far ahead can make challenges feel overwhelming. By concentrating on what you can do right now, you make the task more manageable and reduce stress. Another aspect is belief. Believing in your ability to overcome challenges is essential. This belief is built through experience, but it also requires a willingness to trust yourself. It means acknowledging your capabilities and using them to move forward. Mental toughness is not about being invincible. It is about being persistent, adaptable, and resilient. It is about continuing to move forward even when the path is difficult. It is about understanding that challenges are part of the journey and that your response to them defines your progress. When you develop mental toughness, you gain the ability to navigate uncertainty, to handle pressure, and to stay committed to your goals. You become someone who does not give up easily, who can endure difficulty, and who can continue to grow despite challenges. Focus is one of the most powerful and most fragile resources you have. It determines where your energy goes, what you accomplish, and how effectively you move toward your goals. In a world filled with constant distractions, maintaining focus has become increasingly difficult. Yet it has also become more valuable than ever. The ability to concentrate on what truly matters, while ignoring what does not, can be the difference between progress and stagnation. At its core, focus is about direction. It is the act of intentionally choosing where to place your attention. Every moment you are faced with countless options, tasks to complete, messages to check, thoughts to entertain. Without focus, your attention becomes scattered, moving from one thing to another without depth or purpose. This scattered attention leads to shallow work, incomplete tasks, and a sense of being busy without being productive. One of the main challenges to focus is the sheer number of distractions available. Technology, while useful, has created an environment where interruptions are constant. Notifications, social media, and endless streams of information compete for your attention. Each distraction may seem small, but together they fragment your concentration. When your attention is constantly interrupted, it becomes difficult to engage in deep, meaningful work. Focus requires intentional effort. It is not something that happens automatically. It is something you cultivate. You have to decide what matters most and commit to giving it your full attention. This often means saying no to other things. It means setting boundaries and protecting your time. Without these boundaries, it is easy for less important tasks to take over your schedule. Clarity plays a crucial role in focus. When you are clear about your goals and priorities, it becomes easier to direct your attention. You know what needs to be done and why it matters. This clarity reduces hesitation and helps you avoid wasting time on activities that do not contribute to your progress. Without clarity, it is easy to become reactive, responding to whatever demands your attention in the moment, rather than following a deliberate plan. Another important aspect of focus is depth. It is not just about spending time on a task, but about fully engaging with it. Deep focus allows you to think critically, solve complex problems, and produce high-quality work. Shallow focus, on the other hand, leads to surface-level engagement and mediocre results. Developing the ability to work deeply is a skill that requires practice and discipline. Multitasking is often seen as a valuable ability, but in reality, it undermines focus. Huh? When you try to do multiple things at once, your attention is divided. You may feel productive, but your efficiency and quality of work suffer. Each time you switch between tasks, there's a mental cost. It takes time to refocus, and this constant switching reduces your overall effectiveness. True productivity comes from focusing on one task at a time and giving it your full attention. Focus also requires energy. Your ability to concentrate is influenced by your physical and mental state. Fatigue, stress, and poor habits can reduce your capacity to focus. Taking care of your health, getting enough rest, maintaining a balanced routine, and managing stress supports your ability to stay focused. When your energy is low, even simple tasks can feel difficult. Another challenge to focus is internal distraction. It is not always external factors that pull your attention away. Sometimes it is your own thoughts. Worries, doubts, and unrelated ideas can interrupt your concentration. Learning to manage these internal distractions is an important part of maintaining focus. Techniques such as writing down thoughts, practicing mindfulness, or setting specific times for reflection can help keep your mind clear during focus work. Focus is also closely linked to discipline. It is easy to stay focused when a task is interesting or enjoyable, but it becomes more difficult when the task is challenging or repetitive. Discipline allows you to maintain focus even when you do not feel like it. It is the ability to stay committed to your priorities regardless of your mood. Another important aspect is environment. Your surroundings can either support or hinder your focus. A cluttered, noisy, or distracting environment makes it harder to concentrate. On the other hand, a clean, organized, and quiet space can enhance your ability to focus. Designing your environment with focus in mind can make a significant difference in your productivity. Time management is also a key factor. Without a clear structure, it is easy to lose focus and drift between tasks. Setting specific time blocks for focused work can help you stay on track. During these periods, you commit to working on a single task without interruption. This structured approach creates a sense of urgency and helps you make the most of your time. Another important element of focus is prioritization. Not all tasks are equally important. Some have a greater impact on your goals than others. Identifying these high-impact tasks and focusing on them first ensures that your efforts are aligned with your objectives. Without prioritization, you may spend time on less important activity while neglecting what truly matters. Focus also requires patience. Deep, meaningful work takes time. It is not something that can be rushed. When you are used to constant stimulation and quick results, it can be difficult to settle into focused work. But with practice, you can train your mind to stay engaged for longer periods. This patience allows you to produce better results and make more significant progress. Another challenge is the desire for instant gratification. Many distractions offer immediate rewards, entertainment, social interaction, or a quick sense of accomplishment. Focus work, on the other hand, often involves delayed rewards. It requires effort and persistence before results are visible. Learning to delay gratification is essential for maintaining focus. It means choosing long-term progress over short-term pleasure. Focus also involves commitment. When you decide to focus on something, you are making a choice to invest your time and energy in it. This commitment requires consistency. It's not enough to focus occasionally. You need to make it a regular practice. Over time, this consistency strengthens your ability to concentrate and makes focus a natural part of your routine. Another important aspect is self-awareness. Understanding your habits, tendencies, and patterns can help you improve your focus. Notice when you are most productive, what types of tasks you find challenging, and what distractions affect you the most. This awareness allows you to make adjustments and create strategies that work for you. Focus also benefits from clear goals. When you know what you are working toward, it becomes easier to stay engaged. Goals provide direction and motivation. They give your efforts a purpose. Without clear goals, it is easy to lose focus and become distracted by less important activities. Another factor is momentum. When you start working on a task and make progress, it becomes easier to continue. This is why it is important to begin, even if it feels difficult. Once you are in motion, focus becomes more natural. The challenge is often in getting started, not in continuing. Focus also requires the ability to say no. Opportunity, requests, and distractions will constantly compete for your attention. Saying yes to everything spreads your focus too thin. By saying no to what does not align with your priorities, you protect your time and energy for what truly matters. Another important element is reflection. Taking time to review your work and your progress can help you improve your focus. It allows you to identify what is working and what is not. This reflection helps you refine your approach and become more effective over time. Focus also involves managing expectations. You may not always be able to maintain perfect concentration. There will be moments when your attention drifts. The key is to recognize this and bring your focus back without frustration. Over time, your ability to sustain focus will improve. Another aspect is resilience. Maintaining focus can be challenging, especially in difficult or stressful situations. Resilience allows you to stay committed despite these challenges. It helps you push through distractions and maintain your attention on what matters. Focus also enhances creativity. When you are fully engaged in a task, you are more likely to generate new ideas and solutions. Deep focus allows your mind to explore connections and think more effectively. This is why many creative breakthroughs occur during periods of uninterrupted concentration. Another benefit of focus is efficiency. When you concentrate on a single task, you can complete it more quickly and with higher quality. This efficiency frees up time for other activities and reduces the need for rework. Focus also builds confidence. When you consistently complete tasks and make progress, you develop a sense of accomplishment. This reinforces your belief in your ability to achieve your goals. Confidence, in turn, supports your ability to stay focused. Another important factor is habit. Focus is not just a one-time effort. It is a habit that you develop over time. By practicing focus work regularly, you train your mind to concentrate more effectively. This habit becomes stronger with repetition. Focus also requires balance. While it is important to concentrate on your goals, it is also important to rest and recharge. Overworking can lead to burnout, which reduces your ability to focus. Taking breaks and maintaining a healthy balance supports long-term productivity. Another aspect is adaptability. Different tasks may require different types of focus. Some require deep concentration, while others may be more routine. Being able to adjust your focus based on the task can improve your effectiveness. Focus also involves letting go of perfectionism. Trying to make everything perfect can slow you down and create unnecessary stress. Instead, focus on progress. Completing tasks and making improvements over time is more important than achieving perfection in a single attempt. Another key element is intention. Before starting a task, take a moment to set a clear intention. Decide what you want to accomplish and how you will approach it. This intentional mindset helps you stay focused and align with your goals. Focus ultimately comes down to choice. Every moment you have the option to direct your attention toward what matters or to allow it to be pulled in different directions. By choosing to focus, you take control of your time, your energy, and your progress. Over time, this ability to concentrate becomes one of your greatest strengths, allowing you to achieve more, create better work, and move steadily toward your goals. Execution is the bridge between intention and achievement. Ideas, plans, and goals all have value, but without execution, they remain unrealized. Many people spend a significant amount of time thinking about what they want to do, planning how they will do it, and imagining the outcome. While this process can feel productive, it does not create results on its own. Results come from action, consistent, deliberate, and focused execution. There is a certain comfort in planning. It gives you a sense of control, a feeling that you are preparing yourself for success. You research, you organize, you map out every step. But planning can easily become a form of avoidance. It allows you to stay in a safe space where nothing is at risk. Execution, on the other hand, requires you to step into uncertainty. It exposes you to the possibility of failure, mistakes, and imperfection. This is why many people remain stuck in the planning phase. They are not unwilling to think, but they are hesitant to act. Execution is not about having the perfect plan. In fact, perfect plans rarely exist. Conditions change, new information emerges, and unexpected challenges arise. If you wait for a flawless plan before taking action, you will likely wait indefinitely. Execution is about starting with what you have and adjusting as you go. It is a dynamic process that involves learning, adapting, and improving through experience. One of the most important aspects of execution is momentum. When you take action, you create movement. This movement makes it easier to continue. The first step is often the hardest because it requires you to overcome inertia. But once you begin, each subsequent step becomes more natural. Momentum builds over time, turning effort into progress and progress into results. Execution also provides clarity. When you are only planning, you are operating in theory. You are making assumptions about what will work and what will not. But when you execute, you test those assumptions in reality. You see what actually happens. This feedback is invaluable because it allows you to make informed decisions. It helps you refine your approach and improve your effectiveness. Another key element of execution is accountability. When you take action, you are responsible for the outcome. This responsibility can be challenging, but it is also empowering. It puts you in control of your progress. Instead of waiting for circumstances to change, you become the one driving change. This shift in mindset is critical for achieving meaningful results. Execution also requires discipline. There will be days when you do not feel like taking action. There will be moments when the task feels difficult or overwhelming. Discipline allows you to move forward despite these feelings. It keeps you consistent and ensures that you continue to make progress even when motivation is low. Perfectionism is one of the biggest obstacles to execution. The desire to do everything perfectly can prevent you from starting or completing tasks. You may spend excessive time refining details, worrying about potential mistakes, or trying to meet unrealistic standards. This slows down your progress and can lead to frustration. Execution requires a different mindset, one that values progress over perfection. It is better to complete something imperfectly than to leave it unfinished. Another important aspect is speed. This does not mean rushing through tasks without thought, but it does mean avoiding unnecessary delays. When you act quickly, you reduce the time available for doubt and overthinking. You maintain momentum and keep your focus on the task at hand. Speed combined with thoughtful action can significantly increase your productivity. Execution also involves prioritization. Not all actions have the same impact. Some tasks move you closer to your goals, while others may be less important. Identifying high-impact actions and focusing on them ensures that your efforts are effective. Without prioritization, you may spend time on activities that do not contribute to your progress. Another key factor is consistency. Execution is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. Taking action once or twice is not enough to create lasting results. You need to show up repeatedly, putting in the effort day after day. This consistency builds momentum and leads to meaningful progress over time. Execution also requires adaptability. As you take action, you will encounter challenges and new information. Being able to adjust your approach is essential. This does not mean abandoning your goals, but rather finding new ways to achieve them. Flexibility allows you to navigate obstacles and continue moving forward. Fear is another common barrier to execution. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown can all prevent you from taking action. These fears can feel overwhelming, but they are often based on uncertainty rather than reality. Execution helps you confront these fears. By taking action, you gain experience and build confidence. You realize that failure is not as devastating as it seems, and that it is often a valuable learning opportunity. Another important aspect is focus. Execution requires your full attention. When you are distracted, your efforts become fragmented and your progress slows. By concentrating on one task at a time, you can work more efficiently and produce better results. Focused execution is far more effective than scattered effort. Execution also builds confidence. Each time you take action and complete a task, you reinforce your belief in your ability to get things done. This confidence is not based on words or thoughts, but on experience. It grows stronger with each action you take, making it easier to tackle more challenging tasks. Another key element is learning. Execution is one of the most effective ways to learn. When you take action, you gain firsthand experience. You encounter real challenges and develop practical solutions. This type of learning is more valuable than theoretical knowledge because it is grounded in reality. Execution also helps you overcome procrastination. Procrastination often stems from overthinking and fear. By taking action, you break this cycle. You shift your focus from thinking to doing, which reduces hesitation and builds momentum. The more you execute, the less you procrastinate. Another important factor is energy management. Execution requires effort, and your ability to take action is influenced by your energy levels. Taking care of your physical and mental well-being supports your ability to execute effectively. This includes getting enough rest, maintaining a healthy routine, and managing stress. Execution also involves setting clear expectations. Knowing what you need to do and what success looks like helps you stay focused and organized. Clear expectations reduce confusion and make it easier to take action. Without them, you may feel uncertain about where to start or what to prioritize. Another aspect is breaking tasks into smaller steps. Large tasks can feel overwhelming, which can lead to delay. By dividing them into manageable parts, you make them more approachable. Each small step brings you closer to completion and helps maintain momentum. Execution also requires resilience. Not every action will lead to success. There will be setbacks and mistakes. Resilience allows you to continue despite these challenges. It helps you learn from your experience and keep moving forward. Another key element is commitment. Execution is not about occasional effort. It is about sustained action. It requires a commitment to your goals and a willingness to put in the work consistently. This commitment provides a foundation that supports your progress over time. Execution also benefits from feedback. As you take action, you receive information about what works and what does not. This feedback allows you to make adjustments and improve your approach. It is an essential part of the learning process. Another important factor is environment. Your surroundings can influence your ability to execute. A supportive environment can enhance your focus and productivity, while a distracting environment can hinder it. Creating a space that supports your work can make a significant difference. Execution also involves managing distractions. Distractions can interrupt your flow and reduce your efficiency. By minimizing interruptions and staying focused on your task, you can maintain momentum and complete your work more effectively. Another aspect is time management. Allocating specific time for tasks helps ensure that you take action. Without a clear schedule, it is easy to delay or become distracted. Time management provides structure and supports consistent execution. Execution also builds momentum over time. Each action you take contributes to your progress. This momentum makes it easier to continue and helps you achieve your goals more efficiently. It creates a cycle where action leads to progress and progress leads to more action. Another key element is mindset. Viewing execution as an opportunity rather than a burden can change how you approach your work. It allows you to see challenges as part of the process and to stay motivated even when tasks are difficult. Execution also requires courage. Taking action often involves stepping into the unknown. It requires a willingness to face uncertainty and to take risks. This courage is essential for growth and achievement. Another important factor is persistence. Execution is not always easy, and there will be moments when you feel like stopping. Persistence allows you to continue despite these feelings. It keeps you moving forward and ensures that you do not give up prematurely. Execution also involves reflection. Taking time to review your actions and outcomes helps you improve. It allows you to identify strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth. This reflection supports continuous improvement. Another aspect is simplicity. Overcomplicating tasks can hinder execution. By simplifying your approach, you make it easier to take action. Focus on what is essential and avoid unnecessary complexity. Execution ultimately comes down to action. It is a process of turning ideas into reality. It is what transforms potential into progress and progress into results. Without execution, even the best ideas remain unrealized. When you prioritize execution, you shift your focus from thinking to doing. You take control of your progress and move steadily toward your goals. You learn, adapt, and grow through experience. And over time, your consistent actions lead to meaningful and lasting results. Discipline is the foundation of all achievement. It is the invisible force that determines whether potential becomes reality or remains untapped. Talent, ideas, and ambition can only take you so far. Without discipline, they are unreliable and inconsistent. Discipline is what allows you to show up every day, even when motivation is low, even when circumstances are difficult, and even when the results are not immediately visible. It is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who simply dream about them. At its core, discipline is about choice. Every day you are faced with countless decisions, and each one has consequences for your long-term goals. Discipline is the ability to choose what aligns with your objectives rather than what provides temporary comfort or pleasure. It's the strength to delay gratification and focus on what matters most. Without this ability, distractions, impulses, and convenience will constantly derail your progress. One of the key components of discipline is consistency. Consistency is not about sporadic bursts of effort or occasional hard work. It is about showing up repeatedly, day after day, even when it feels difficult. Small, consistent actions compound over time to produce extraordinary results. Discipline is what ensures that your actions remain steady even when the initial excitement fades and the grind begins to feel monotonous. Another critical element of discipline is self-control. Self-control is the capacity to regulate your impulses and resist temptations that do not serve your goals. Every time you choose to stay on task rather than give in to distraction, you reinforce your self-discipline. This does not mean living a life of rigidity or denial, but it does mean making conscious decisions that prioritize your long-term success over immediate pleasure. Discipline is also closely linked to accountability. When you hold yourself responsible for your actions, you reinforce your commitment to your goals. Accountability can be internal, through self-monitoring, and external, through mentors, peers, or structured commitments. Knowing that you are answerable for your choices increases the likelihood that you will act with purpose and restraint. Time management is another crucial aspect of discipline. Your ability to manage your time effectively determines how much you can accomplish and how efficiently you can move toward your goals. Discipline allows you to structure your day intentionally, dedicating your energy to the tasks that have the greatest impact. It also helps you avoid procrastination, which is often the result of poor time management and weak self-control. Discipline also requires mental toughness. Life will inevitably throw obstacles in your path, and circumstances will not always be favorable. Mental toughness allows you to stay committed to your routines and standards despite setbacks, fatigue, or discomfort. It is the resilience to persevere even when progress seems slow or results are delayed. Discipline and mental toughness reinforce each other, creating a strong foundation for achievement. Another important component of discipline is goal clarity. When you know exactly what you are working toward, it becomes easier to maintain your focus and resist distractions. Clear goals provide direction and purpose, which are essential for sustaining disciplined efforts. Without clarity, it is easy to drift, procrastinate, or waste energy on tasks that do not advance your objectives. Discipline is also closely related to habits. The more you practice disciplined behaviors, the more automatic they become. Habits are essentially actions that have been repeated so consistently that they require minimal conscious effort. By intentionally cultivating productive habits, you reduce the reliance on willpower alone, making it easier to maintain discipline over the long term. A critical challenge to discipline is managing motivation. Motivation fluctuates naturally. It is influenced by emotions, circumstances, and external events. Relying solely on motivation is risky because it is unreliable. Discipline compensates for this variability by ensuring that action continues even when motivation is low. It is the commitment to process and consistency, independent of how you feel in the moment. Another essential aspect of discipline is planning. While execution is vital, disciplined planning ensures that your actions are purposeful and aligned with your goals. Planning does not mean overthinking or waiting for the perfect strategy. It means creating a roadmap that guides your effort and provides structure to your actions. Discipline ensures that you follow through on your plans, translating intention into measurable progress. Discipline also involves prioritization. Not all tasks are created equal, and some contribute more directly to your long-term objectives than others. Being disciplined means recognizing what is important and dedicating your focus and energy to those high-impact activities. It also means resisting the temptation to spend time on trivial or low-value tasks, even when they are easier or more immediately rewarding. Self-awareness is another crucial component. Discipline requires you to understand your strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and triggers. By knowing yourself, you can create strategies that support your disciplined behavior, mitigate factors that might lead to inconsistency or distraction. This self-awareness allows you to plan more effectively and act with intention. Discipline is also intertwined with delayed gratification. Many of the most meaningful accomplishments in life require sustained effort over time, often without immediate rewards. Discipline allows you to endure the discomfort of delayed gratification, trusting that your consistent effort will pay off in the future. This ability to delay gratification is what separates high achievers from those who succumb to short-term impulses. Another aspect of discipline is focus. Staying disciplined means maintaining concentration on your priorities and resisting the pull of distractions. In today's world, distractions are constant. Social media, notifications, entertainment, and competing demands all vie for your attention. Discipline allows you to create boundaries around your focus, ensuring that your energy is directed toward what truly matters. Discipline also demands resilience in the face of failure. Progress is rarely linear, and setbacks are inevitable. Without discipline, failure can lead to discouragement, procrastination, or abandonment of goals. With discipline, however, setbacks become opportunities to learn and grow. It allows you to persevere, adapt, and continue working toward your objectives despite temporary defeats. Another critical component is self-motivation. While external rewards and accountability can support disciplined behavior, the ability to motivate yourself internally is essential. Self-motivation is the drive to act consistently, even when no one is watching or when external incentives are absent. Discipline and self-motivation are mutually reinforcing. The more disciplined you are, the easier it is to stay self-motivated and vice versa. Discipline also requires humility. You must be willing to accept that achieving meaningful goals often involves repetitive, sometimes tedious effort. It is the willingness to put in the work without seeking immediate recognition or validation. Humility allows you to focus on the process rather than seeking shortcuts or instant gratification. Another important factor is reflection. Regularly assessing your actions, habits, and results allows you to refine your approach and reinforce your discipline. Reflection helps you identify areas where you may be inconsistent or distracted and develop strategies to correct them. It also provides perspective on your progress, reinforcing the value of sustained effort. Discipline is strengthened by routines. Creating structured routines reduces the number of decisions you need to make daily, conserving willpower for the tasks that matter most. Routines create predictability and stability, allowing you to act with consistency even when motivation wanes. They serve as a framework for disciplined behavior, making it easier to maintain over time. Another key aspect is accountability to others. While internal discipline is essential, having external accountability, whether through mentors, colleagues, or structured commitments, can reinforce your consistency. Knowing that others are aware of your goals and actions can motivate you to follow through, particularly when your own motivation falters. Discipline also involves perseverance. It is the commitment to continue day after day, even when progress feels slow or outcomes are uncertain. Perseverance is the long-term application of discipline, and it is what ultimately leads to significant achievements. Without perseverance, even disciplined effort can dissipate when challenges arise. Another critical element is courage. Discipline requires the courage to make choices that may be uncomfortable, unpopular, or difficult in the moment. It is the courage to resist immediate temptations in favor of long-term gains and to take consistent action despite fear or uncertainty. Discipline is also supported by environment. Your surroundings, the people you interact with, and the systems you create can either strengthen or weaken your ability to act consistently. A disciplined environment minimizes distraction, reinforces productive behaviors, and provides cues that support your goals. Another aspect is incremental improvement. Discipline is not about massive leaps. It's about steady progress. Small, consistent actions accumulate over time, creating compounding results. By focusing on incremental improvement, you maintain momentum, build confidence, and create sustainable habits that drive long-term success. Discipline also involves intentionality. Every action you take should serve a purpose aligned with your larger goals. Without intentionality, you may act out of habit, impulse, or external pressure, which can lead to wasted effort and inconsistency. Being intentional ensures that your disciplined actions have meaningful impact. Another factor is resilience to temptation. Life constantly presents choices that test your discipline. Temptations to procrastinate, indulge, or divert your energy are always present. The ability to resist these temptations consistently is what separates disciplined individuals from those who allow short-term impulses to dictate their behavior. Discipline also demands accountability to your own standards. It is not enough to compare yourself to others or measure success externally. True discipline involves committing to your own standards and values and consistently aligning your actions with them. This internal accountability builds integrity, confidence, and reliability. Another important aspect is flexibility. Discipline does not mean rigidity. While consistency and adherence to routines are essential, you must also be willing to adjust your approach when circumstances change. Flexibility ensures that discipline is sustainable and effective, rather than rigid and counterproductive. Discipline is ultimately about freedom. While it may seem counterintuitive, the ability to control your impulses and focus your energy gives you freedom from chaos, distraction, and reactive behavior. By acting intentionally and consistently, you create the conditions for success and the ability to shape your own life. Another key element is commitment to growth. Discipline is not just about maintaining consistency in tasks. It is about continuously improving, learning, and expanding your capabilities. By committing to growth, you ensure that your disciplined actions lead to meaningful long-term outcomes rather than temporary or superficial results. Finally, discipline is the foundation of execution, focus, and persistence. Without it, even the best ideas, strategies, and intentions will falter. Discipline transforms potential into action, action into results, and results into success. It is the silent, consistent force that propels those who commit to it toward their goals, ensuring that dreams are realized, challenges are overcome, and progress is made consistently over time. Sacrifice is one of the most misunderstood yet essential elements of achieving greatness. Many people talk about dreams, vision, and ambition, but few truly understand the cost of reaching the level of success they desire. Sacrifice is not about losing something for the sake of loss. It is about strategically giving up what is less important today to gain something far greater tomorrow. It is the ability to prioritize long-term goals over short-term pleasures, and it is a hallmark of anyone who has truly achieved extraordinary results. Without sacrifice, even talent and hard work can be limited in their impact because of distractions, comforts, and temptations of life pull energy and focus away from the things that matter most. At its core, sacrifice requires clarity. You must understand what your ultimate goals are and what is truly necessary to achieve them. Without this clarity, sacrifices can be wasted on things that do not advance your objectives, leaving you tired, frustrated, and no closer to your dreams. Clear goals provide direction and purpose, and they make the act of sacrificing something worthwhile than a frustrating exercise in self-denial. Sacrifice without purpose is meaningless. Sacrifice with purpose is a tool for building the life you desire. One of the first areas where sacrifice manifests is time. Time is the one resource everyone has in equal measure, yet it is often spent on activities that do not align with our long-term goals. To achieve something great, you must be willing to give up leisure, entertainment, or even social activities to focus on work, training, learning, or development. This is not about neglecting your personal life entirely, but about making conscious decisions about how you invest your hours. Every hour spent on low-value activities is an hour lost in pursuit of your dreams. And recognizing this is the first step in understanding the role of sacrifice. Sacrifice also requires discipline of the mind. It is easy to be distracted by the immediate gratification offered by comfort or pleasure. Social media, video games, binge watching shows, or even excessive rest can seem harmless in a moment, but they accumulate over time to create a significant opportunity cost. Sacrifice is about training your mind to resist these temptations and to remain focused on what will bring meaningful returns in the future. Mental discipline allows you to recognize that discomfort today, whether it is waking up early, putting in extra hours, or pushing through fatigue, is an investment in tomorrow's success. Another critical element of sacrifice is the willingness to endure discomfort. Growth and progress rarely occur in comfort zones. To reach higher levels of achievement, you must be willing to work when others rest, practice when others play, and push when others quit. This willingness to endure temporary pain, fatigue, or inconvenience is what separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who remain average. Every sacrifice of comfort is a step closer to mastery, a step closer to your goals, and a step closer to the life you envision. Sacrifice also requires prioritization. Not every goal is worth the same level of effort, and not every desire is equally important. Learning to differentiate between what is essential and what is optional is key to making meaningful sacrifices. It is not about giving up everything. It is about giving up what does not serve your higher purpose. This prioritization ensures that your sacrifices are strategic and impactful rather than scattered and draining. Another area of sacrifice involves relationships. While personal connections are vital, achieving high-level success often demands periods of intense focus where social life may take a back seat. This does not mean abandoning relationships, but it does mean temporarily reducing time spent on social activities, entertainment, or casual engagements to dedicate more energy to your goals. Those who understand sacrifice recognize that some level of temporary isolation or reduced socialization is often necessary to accomplish extraordinary feats. Financial sacrifice is another factor. Investing in your goals, whether it is education, training, business ventures, or tools, often requires giving up immediate consumption or luxury. Spending less on entertainment or convenience today can create opportunities for exponential growth tomorrow. This financial discipline is a form of sacrifice that aligns resources with long-term objectives. It is an understanding that short-term comfort is not worth jeopardizing the future you are building. Sacrifice also demands self-awareness. You must understand your habits, tendencies, and weaknesses to identify where you are most likely to squander resources, time, or energy. Awareness allows you to make deliberate choices about what to give up and what to protect. Without this insight, sacrifices can be unfocused or misdirected, reducing their effectiveness and making the journey more frustrating. Another critical aspect of sacrifice is resilience. Sacrifice is not easy. It often comes with resistance, both internally and externally. Friends or family may not understand your choices, and your own mind may rebel against the discomfort. Resilience allows you to persist in the face of this resistance, to stay committed to your goals, and to maintain the sacrifices necessary for long-term success. It is the internal fortitude that sustains you through periods of discomfort, uncertainty, or doubt. Sacrifice is closely tied to delayed gratification. The ability to forego immediate pleasure in favor of long-term benefit is fundamental to achievement. Many people fail to reach their potential because they seek instant rewards rather than investing in the work that will yield significant results over time. Delayed gratification is a mindset that values the outcome more than the temporary pleasure of the present moment. It is a principle that underlies every great achievement, from academic excellence to athletic mastery to entrepreneurial success. Another element is the ability to make hard decisions. Sacrifice often requires saying no to something you want or enjoy, sometimes repeatedly. This decision-making process is rarely comfortable. It forces you to weigh the value of short-term desires against long-term objectives. Making these decisions consistently builds the mental toughness and clarity necessary to achieve extraordinary outcomes. It is through these repeated choices that the habit of sacrifice is formed. Sacrifice also involves focus. To achieve anything significant, you cannot spread yourself too thin. Focus requires you to channel your energy, attention, and resources toward the most critical tasks, even when other opportunities or distractions are available. By sacrificing less important pursuits, you create space for meaningful progress. Focus and sacrifice are inseparable. You cannot maintain deep focus without the willingness to give up what is irrelevant. Another critical aspect is preparation. Sacrifice often prepares you for opportunities before they arrive. By putting in extra work, effort, or study now, you position yourself to take advantage of moments when they occur. The sacrifices made in preparation are not lost. They compound into skills, knowledge, and experience that become invaluable when the right opportunity arises. Sacrifice also requires vision. Without a clear picture of what you are working toward, it is difficult to justify the costs involved. Vision provides the why behind your sacrifice, giving meaning to the discomfort, discipline, and restraint required. It allows you to see beyond immediate challenges and maintain motivation through difficult periods. Vision and sacrifice work hand in hand to create a powerful framework for sustained effort. Another area is physical sacrifice. Many forms of excellence require care of the body through rigorous training, strict diet, or long hours of practice. These physical sacrifices may feel limiting or uncomfortable in the short term, but they are essential for achieving peak performance. Whether it is athletic training, long work hours, or managing health for energy and endurance, physical discipline is a form of sacrifice that pays dividends in performance and resilience. Sacrifice also involves emotional regulation. Pursuing high-level goals often brings stress, frustration, and pressure. The ability to maintain composure, manage emotional impulses, and stay committed to long-term objectives is itself a form of sacrifice. You may need to sacrifice short-term emotional comfort, venting, procrastinating, or seeking easy validation in favor of discipline and sustained effort. Another key aspect is adaptability. Sacrifice is not rigid, it is strategic. Sometimes the path to your goals changes, requiring a recalibration of what you give up and what you focus on. Being adaptable ensures that your sacrifices remain aligned with your evolving objectives. It allows you to redirect effort, resources, and energy without losing sight of your ultimate vision. Sacrifice also builds character. The process of giving up what is easy or comfortable in order to achieve something greater fosters qualities like patience, resilience, and determination. These traits not only support your immediate goals, but also prepare you for future challenges. The discipline, courage, and focus developed through sacrifice become lifelong assets that extend beyond any single achievement. Another element is the acceptance of temporary discomfort. Sacrifice is rarely permanent. It is usually temporary discomfort endured for future benefit. Understanding this distinction makes the process more manageable. Recognizing that the pain or loss you experience today is an investment in tomorrow helps maintain perspective and strengthens your resolve. Sacrifice also requires accountability to yourself. You must take ownership of the choices you make and the cost you are willing to endure. This internal accountability ensures that sacrifices are intentional rather than forced or accidental. It reinforces the connection between effort and outcome, making the sacrifices meaningful and purposeful. Another area is learning to embrace hard work. Sacrifice often requires going above and beyond what is convenient, easy, or comfortable. Embracing hard work as a necessary component of success makes the process of sacrifice less intimidating and more natural. It allows you to see effort not as punishment, but as a pathway to achievement. Sacrifice also reinforces gratitude and perspective. By giving up temporary pleasures or comforts, you gain a greater appreciation for the value of long-term goals. You recognize the effort required to achieve excellence, and you develop respect for those who have gone before you and endured similar sacrifices. Gratitude and perspective help maintain motivation and focus during challenging periods. Another key aspect is self-trust. When you consistently make sacrifices aligned with your goals, you build confidence in your ability to follow through. This self-trust is essential for maintaining momentum, navigating uncertainty, and staying committed over the long term. Each sacrifice reinforces your belief in your own discipline and judgment. Sacrifice also teaches patience. The benefits of giving up certain comforts are rarely immediate. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you build trust in yourself. This trust is essential for confidence. When you know that you can rely on yourself to take action, your belief naturally strengthens. In contrast, inconsistency, making promises and not keeping them, erodes self-trust and weakens belief. Another key element is courage. Self-belief does not mean the absence of fear. It means acting despite fear. Courage is the willingness to step into uncertainty, to take risks, and to pursue your goals even when the outcome is not guaranteed. Each act of courage reinforces your belief in your ability to handle challenges and navigate the unknown. Self-belief also requires patience. Building confidence is not an overnight process. It takes time, effort, and repeated experiences of overcoming challenges. There will be moments when your belief wavers, when progress seems slow, or when results are not immediately visible. Patience allows you to stay committed during these periods and trust that your efforts will pay off in the long run. Another important factor is resilience. Life will test your belief in yourself through setbacks, failures, and unexpected challenges. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from these difficulties and continue moving forward. Each time you recover from a setback, you reinforce your belief in your ability to handle adversity. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of your confidence. Self-belief is also influenced by your environment. Surrounding yourself with supportive, positive, and growth-oriented individuals can strengthen your confidence. These people encourage you, challenge you, and remind you of your potential. On the other hand, a negative environment filled with doubt, criticism, or discouragement can weaken your belief. Being mindful of your environment and making intentional choices about who and what you allow into your life is crucial. Another aspect is visualization. Seeing yourself succeed, imagining the process, and mentally rehearsing your actions can enhance your confidence. Visualization helps bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It creates a mental blueprint that reinforces your belief in your ability to achieve your goals. Self-belief also requires accountability. Taking responsibility for your actions, decisions, and outcomes strengthens your sense of control. When you hold yourself accountable, you recognize that your success is not dependent on luck or external factors, but on your own effort and choices. This realization empowers you and reinforces your belief in your ability to shape your future. Another critical element is learning. Continuously improving your skills and knowledge increases your confidence, which in turn boosts your confidence. The more you learn and grow, the more capable you become, and the stronger your belief in yourself becomes. Learning is a continuous process that supports long-term confidence and success. Self-belief is also about embracing your unique need. Everyone has different strengths, experiences, and perspectives. Instead of trying to fit into someone else's mold, self-belief requires you to recognize and embrace what makes you different. Your uniqueness is not a weakness. It is an asset that can set you apart and contribute to your success. Another important aspect is persistence. Believing in yourself means continuing to pursue your goals, even when progress is slow or obstacles arise. Persistence reinforces your commitment and strengthens your belief over time. Each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to your overall progress and confidence. Self-belief also involves setting realistic expectations. While it is important to aim high, it is equally important to understand that progress takes time and effort. Unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment and self-doubt. By setting achievable goals and celebrating small wins, you create a positive cycle that reinforces your belief. Another factor is emotional control. Managing your emotions, especially during challenging situations, is essential for maintaining self-belief. Allowing negative emotions to take over can lead to doubt and hesitation. Developing emotional awareness and control helps you stay focused and confident. even under pressure. Self-belief also requires honesty with yourself. Acknowledging your weaknesses and areas for improvement does not weaken your confidence. It strengthens it. By understanding where you need to grow, you can take deliberate steps to improve. This proactive approach reinforces your belief in your ability to develop and succeed. Another aspect is taking ownership of your journey. Your path is unique, and your success is determined by your action. Taking ownership means accepting responsibility for your progress and not blaming external factors. This mindset empowers you and reinforces your belief in your ability to create change. Self-belief also grows through experience. The more you challenge yourself, take risks, and step outside your comfort zone, the more you learn about your capabilities. Each experience adds to your confidence and strengthens your belief in your potential. Another important element is gratitude. Recognizing your progress, appreciating your efforts, and acknowledging your achievements helps maintain a positive mindset. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have accomplished, reinforcing your belief in your abilities. Self-belief is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. It is about trusting that you can figure things out, that you can learn, and that you can grow. It is the quiet confidence that keeps you moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. Ultimately, self-belief is non-negotiable because it influences every aspect of your life. It determines the goals you set, the actions you take, and the way you respond to challenges. Without it, you limit yourself before you even begin. With it, you unlock the potential to achieve more than you ever thought possible. Your environment plays a powerful and often underestimated role in shaping your behavior, your mindset, and ultimately your results. Whether you realize it or not, the spaces you occupy, the people you interact with, and the information you consume are constantly influencing your decision. You may believe that your actions are purely a result of your willpower or motivation, but in reality, your environment is quietly guiding your habits, your focus, and your standards every single day, done it every single day. At its core, controlling your environment means taking responsibility for the influences around you instead of passively accepting them. It is about recognizing that success is not just about internal drive, but also about external design. When your environment supports your goals, progress becomes more natural. When it works against you, even the strongest intentions can be worn down over time. One of the most significant aspects of your environment is the people you surround yourself with. Human beings are naturally influenced by those around them. The attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of your circle tend to rub off on you, often without you even noticing. If you spend most of your time with people who are negative, unmotivated, or complacent, it becomes much harder to maintain a mindset of growth and ambition. On the other hand, being around individuals who are disciplined, focused, and driven can elevate your standards and push you to perform at a higher level. This does not necessarily mean cutting people out of your life abruptly, but it does mean being intentional about who has the most influence over your time and energy. You have to evaluate whether the people around you are helping you grow or holding you back. Sometimes growth requires distance, not out of disrespect, but out of necessity. Protecting your environment means protecting your future. Another critical component of your environment is the information you consume. In today's world, you are constantly exposed to content, social media, videos, news, conversations, and more. This information shapes your thinking patterns, your beliefs, and your priorities. If you are constantly consuming content that is distracting, negative, or unproductive, it will affect your focus and your mindset. Over time, it can create mental clutter and reduce your ability to think clearly and act decisively. Controlling your environment means becoming selective about what you allow into your mind. It means choosing content that educates, inspires, or aligns with your goals. It means limiting exposure to distractions and noise that do not add value to your life. By doing this, you create a mental environment that supports clarity, focus, and growth. Your physical environment also plays a crucial role. The space you work in, live in, and spend your time in can either support or hinder your productivity. A cluttered, chaotic environment can make it difficult to concentrate and stay organized. It can create a sense of overwhelm and reduce your efficiency, On the other hand, a clean, organized, and purposeful space can enhance your focus and make it easier to take action. Designing your physical environment does not require perfection or luxury. It simply requires intentionality. You arrange your space in a way that minimizes distractions and supports your goals. You create an atmosphere that encourages productivity and discipline. Even small changes like organizing your workspace, reducing noise, or removing unnecessary items can have a significant impact on your ability to execute. Another important aspect is routine. Your daily routines are a part of your environment because they structure your time and influence your behavior. A well-designed routine reduces decision fatigue and creates consistency. It makes it easier to take action because you are not constantly deciding what to do next. Instead, your environment guides you toward productive behaviors. For example, if your routine includes dedicated time for focused work, learning, or practice, you are more likely to follow through consistently. If your routine is unstructured and reactive, you are more likely to get distracted or waste time. Controlling your environment means creating routine that align with your goals and support disciplined action. Distractions are another critical factor to consider. Modern environments are filled with distractions, notifications, messages, entertainment, and endless streams of information. These distractions fragment your attention and reduce your ability to focus deeply. Even small interruptions can disrupt your flow and make it harder to regain concentration. To control your environment, you must actively manage these distractions. This might involve turning off notifications, setting boundaries with your time, or creating specific periods for focused work. It requires discipline, but it also requires design. When your environment is structured to minimize distractions, it becomes much easier to maintain focus and productivity. Another key element is accountability. Your environment can either hold you accountable or allow you to drift. Being around people who expect excellence, who challenge you, and who hold you to high standards can significantly impact your performance. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility and urgency that pushes you to follow through on your commitments. If your environment lacks accountability, it becomes easier to procrastinate or settle for less. This is why it is important to create systems of accountability, whether through mentors, peers, or structured commitments. These systems reinforce your goals and keep you aligned with your intentions. Your environment should not only support your current goals, but also your long-term vision. It should evolve with you and continue to push you toward growth. This alignment ensures that your environment remains relevant and effective over time. Control of your environment is ultimately about empowerment. It is recognizing that you have the ability to shape your surroundings and influence your outcomes. It is about taking responsibility for the factors within your control and using them to your advantage. When you control your environment, you reduce friction, increase focus, and create conditions for success. You make it easier to do what you need to do and harder to fall into unproductive patterns. Over time, this alignment between your environment and your goals leads to consistent progress and meaningful results. Outworking your competition is not just about putting in more hours. It is about adopting a mindset that refuses to settle for average effort. It is the understanding that while talent, intelligence, and opportunity all play a role in success, effort is the one variable you can fully control. When you commit to outworking others, you are making a decision to take ownership of your progress, to push beyond your limits, and to separate yourself through consistent, focused action. At the core of this principle is the realization that talent alone is not enough. There are countless individuals with natural ability who never reach their full potential because they rely too heavily on what comes easily to them. Without effort, talent remains underdeveloped. On the other hand, someone with less natural ability but a relentless work ethic can surpass those who rely solely on talent. Effort compounds over time, turning small advantages into significant results. Outworking your competition begins with discipline. It requires you to show up every day regardless of how you feel. There will be days when you are tired, unmotivated, or distracted, but discipline ensures that you continue to take action. This consistency is what creates momentum and builds progress over time. It is not about occasional bursts of hard work. is about sustained effort over the long term. Another critical aspect is focus. Working harder does not mean working aimlessly or spreading yourself too thin. It means directing your energy toward the tasks that matter most. High impact work is what creates results. When you focus on the right activities and eliminate distractions, your effort becomes more effective. This combination of effort and focus is what allows you to truly outwork others. Time management also plays a crucial role. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but how those hours are used varies greatly. Outworking your competition means maximizing the value of your time. It means prioritizing productive activity, minimizing wasted time, and being intentional with how you structure your day. Small improvements in time management can lead to significant gains in productivity over time. Another important factor is intensity. It's not just about how long you work, but how hard you work during that time. High intensity effort allows you to accomplish more in less time and accelerates your progress. This level of focus and engagement requires mental discipline and the ability to push through discomfort. It is about giving your full attention and energy to the task at hand. Outworking your competition also involves continuous improvement. Effort alone is not enough if it is not accompanied by learning and growth. You must constantly seek to improve your skills, refine your strategies, and increase your effectiveness. This commitment to growth ensures that your effort becomes more valuable over time. Another key element is resilience. The path to success is rarely smooth, and there will be obstacles, setbacks, and failures along the way. Outworking your competition means continuing to push forward despite these challenges. It means viewing setbacks as opportunities to learn and improve rather than reasons to quit. Resilience allows you to maintain your effort even when progress is difficult. Sacrifice is also an essential part of this mindset. To outwork others, you must be willing to give up certain comforts and distractions. This might mean waking up earlier, staying up later, or dedicating time that others spend on leisure to productive work. These sacrifices are not easy, but they are necessary to create separation. Another aspect is consistency over time. Anyone can work hard for a short period, but sustained effort is what creates long-term success. Outworking your competition means maintaining your effort day after day, week after week, and year after year. This consistency builds momentum and leads to compounding results. Self-motivation is another critical factor. While external motivation can provide a temporary boost, it is not reliable over the long term. You must develop the ability to motivate yourself, to push forward even when there is no immediate reward or recognition. This internal drive is what sustains your effort over time. Another important element is accountability. Holding yourself accountable for your actions ensures that you maintain your effort and stay on track. This might involve setting clear goals, tracking your progress, or seeking external accountability from others. Accountability reinforces your commitment and helps you stay disciplined. Outworking your competition also requires a strong mindset. You must believe that your effort will pay off even when results are not immediately visible. This belief allows you to stay committed and maintain your focus. Without this mindset, it is easy to become discouraged and reduce your effort. Another key factor is adaptability. As you work hard, you will encounter new challenges and changing circumstances. Being able to adapt your approach ensures that your effort remains effective. It allows you to adjust your strategies and continue making progress. Energy management is also crucial. Working hard requires physical and mental energy, and you must take care of your well-being to sustain your effort. This includes getting enough rest, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and managing stress. Without proper energy management, your ability to work hard will be limited. Another aspect is prioritization. Not all tasks contribute equally to your goals, and focusing on high-impact activities is essential. By prioritizing effectively, you ensure that your effort is directed toward what matters most. This increases your efficiency and effectiveness. Outworking your competition also involves embracing discomfort. Growth often requires stepping outside your comfort zone and pushing your limits. This discomfort is a sign that you are challenging yourself and making progress. By embracing it, you develop resilience and increase your capacity for effort. Another important factor is learning from others. Observing those who are successful and understanding their work ethic can provide valuable insights. It can help you identify areas for improvement and adopt strategies that enhance your effort. Persistence is another key element. There will be times when progress is slow or results are not visible, but persistence ensures that you continue to move forward. This long-term commitment is what ultimately leads to success. Another aspect is maintaining a strong work ethic even when no one is watching. True effort is not about recognition. It is about commitment to your goal. When you maintain your work ethic, regardless of external validation, you build integrity and discipline. Outworking your competition also requires clarity of purpose. Knowing why you are putting in the effort gives meaning to your action and helps you stay motivated. This purpose acts as a driving force that sustains your effort over time. Another important element is eliminating excuses. Excuses are barriers to effort and they limit your potential. By taking responsibility for your actions and focusing on what you can control, you remove these barriers and increase your capacity to work hard. Focus on progress rather than perfection is also essential. Trying to achieve perfection can slow you down and reduce your efficiency. By focusing on progress, you maintain momentum and continue moving forward. Another key factor is developing routines. Structured routines make it easier to maintain consistent effort. They reduce the need for decision-making and create a framework for productivity. Outworking your competition also involves maintaining a positive attitude. A positive mindset helps you stay motivated and resilient, even in challenging situations. It allows you to approach your work with energy and enthusiasm. Another aspect is being proactive. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you take initiative and create your own. This proactive approach increases your chances of success and allows you to stay ahead. Continuous evaluation is also important. Regularly assessing your progress and adjusting your approach ensures that your effort remains effective. This reflection helps you identify areas for improvement and maintain your focus. Another key element is building momentum. Each action you take contributes to your progress, and over time, this momentum makes it easier to continue. By maintaining consistent effort, you create a cycle of progress and motivation. Outworking your competition ultimately comes down to commitment. It is a decision to give your best effort every day, to push beyond your limits, and to continuously strive for improvement. This commitment creates a level of consistency and intensity that sets you apart. It is not about comparing yourself to others constantly, but about setting a standard for yourself that is higher than average. When you commit to this standard, you naturally outwork those who settle for less. Over time, this difference in effort becomes a significant advantage. The cumulative effect of consistent, focused effort is what leads to success. Each day of hard work builds on the previous one, creating a foundation for long-term achievement. Outworking your competition is not a one-time action. It is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a commitment to excellence.
And a commitment to excellence.
Staying locked in is about mastering your attention in a world that constantly tries to steal it. It is the ability to maintain focus on what truly matters despite the endless stream of distractions, noise, and competing priorities that surround you every day. In an environment where attention is one of the most valuable resources, the ability to control it becomes a powerful advantage. Those who can stay locked in on their goals, their work, and their growth create a level of consistency and depth that others struggle to match. At its core, staying locked in requires clarity. You cannot focus deeply on something if you are not clear about what you are aiming for. When your goals are vague or constantly changing, your attention becomes scattered. Clarity provides direction, and direction makes focus possible. When you know exactly what you are working toward, it becomes easier to align your actions and eliminate anything that does not contribute to that objective. Focus is not just about concentration. It is about commitment. It is a decision to prioritize your goals over distractions, even when those distractions are appealing or convenient. Every time you choose to stay focused, instead of giving in to something easier or more entertaining, you reinforce your ability to remain locked in. Over time, this becomes a habit, and your capacity for deep focus increases. One of the biggest challenges to staying locked in is the constant presence of distraction. Notifications, messages, social media, and entertainment are designed to capture your attention and keep you engaged. Allocating specific blocks of time for focused work helps structure your day and ensures that you dedicate time to important tasks. During these blocks, your goal is to remain fully engaged and avoid distractions. This structured approach makes it easier to maintain focus and build consistency. Staying locked in also requires patience. Deep focus is not always immediately rewarding. It can be mentally demanding and sometimes monotonous. However, the long-term benefits far outweigh the short-term discomfort. Patience allows you to stay committed to the process, even when it feels challenging. Another key factor is self-awareness. Understanding your own patterns. When you are most focused, what distracts you, and what helps you concentrate, allows you to optimize your approach. By aligning your work with your natural rhythms and minimizing your triggers for distraction, you can enhance your ability to stay locked in. Accountability can also support focus. Sharing your goals or commitments with others can create a sense of responsibility that encourages you to stay on track. Knowing that someone else is aware of your objectives can motivate you to maintain your focus and follow through. Another important element is reducing decision fatigue. Constantly making decisions about what to do next can drain your mental energy and reduce your ability to focus. By planning your tasks in advance and creating routines, you reduce the number of decisions you need to make, freeing up mental energy for deep work. Staying locked in also involves resilience. There will be moments when you lose focus or get distracted. What matters is how quickly you return to your work. Instead of becoming frustrated or discouraged, you recognize the distraction and refocus your attention. This ability to recover quickly is a key component of sustained focus. Another aspect is aligning your work with your purpose. When you understand why your work matters, it becomes easier to stay engaged. Purpose provides motivation and meaning, which can sustain your focus even during challenging tasks. Technology management is another crucial factor. While technology can be a powerful tool, it can also be a major source of distraction. Being intentional about how you use technology, limiting unnecessary apps, setting boundaries, and using tools that enhance productivity can significantly improve your ability to stay locked in. Another key element is building habits. The more you practice focused work, the more automatic it becomes. Over time, staying locked in becomes part of your routine rather than something you have to force. These habits create consistency and make it easier to maintain high levels of focus. Rest and recovery are also important. Constant focus without breaks can lead to burnout or reduced productivity. Taking intentional breaks allows your mind to recharge and maintain its effectiveness. The key is to balance periods of deep focus with adequate recovery. Another aspect is eliminating unnecessary commitments. Overcommitting can spread your attention too thin and make it difficult to stay focused on what matters. By being selective about what you take on, you ensure that your energy is directed toward your most important goals. Visualization can also enhance focus. Imagining yourself completing tasks and achieving your goals can reinforce your commitment and help you stay engaged. This mental rehearsal creates a sense of clarity and purpose that supports sustained attention. Another important factor is perseverance. Staying locked in is not always easy, and there will be times when you feel like giving in to distraction. Perseverance allows you to push through these moments and maintain your focus. Finally, staying locked in is about protecting your attention as a valuable resource. Your attention determines the quality of your work, the speed of your progress, and the level of your success. By controlling where it goes and how it is used, you take control of your outcomes. When you stay locked in, you create a level of focus and consistency that sets you apart. You make progress faster, produce better results, and develop skills more effectively. In a world full of distractions, the ability to remain focused is not just an advantage, it's a necessity for achieving meaningful success. Most people are chasing comfort without realizing the cost. They want the rewards of success, but they also want the ease, the relaxation, the immediate gratification that comes with doing less. They want the image of success more than the substance of it. And that's where the shift has to happen. When you start thinking in terms of legacy instead of lifestyle, everything changes. Your decisions change, your priorities change, your discipline changes. You stop asking, what feels good right now? And start asking, oh, what will matter years from now? Lifestyle is temporary. It's about what you can enjoy today, nice things, free time, status, recognition. There's nothing wrong with those things, but when they become the goal, they limit your potential. Because lifestyle is built on consumption, while legacy is built on creation. One is about taking, the other is about building. And if all you do is chase lifestyle, you end up living for moments instead of meaning. Legacy forces you to think beyond yourself. It asks a different set of questions. What are you building? Who are you impacting? What will remain after you're gone? These questions shift your mindset from short-term pleasure to long-term purpose. They push you to operate at a higher level because you're no longer just working for yourself. You're working for something bigger. When you adopt a legacy mindset, sacrifice becomes easier to understand. You start to see that giving up certain comforts today is not a loss, but an investment. Every hour you spend working on your craft, every time you choose discipline over distraction, every moment you push through difficulty, you are building something that lasts. That perspective gives meaning to the grind. It transforms hard work from something you endure into something you embrace. A lifestyle mindset often leads to inconsistency. When your goal is comfort, you work hard when it's convenient and slow down when it's not. You prioritize rest over progress, entertainment over growth. But legacy doesn't allow for that kind of inconsistency. Legacy requires commitment. It requires showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when there's no immediate reward. Because you understand that what you're building takes time. Another key difference is how you handle success. When you're focused on lifestyle, success can make you comfortable. You reach a certain level and you start to relax. You start to enjoy the rewards and your drive begins to fade. But when you're focused on legacy, success is not a stopping point. It's a stepping stone. It's an opportunity to build more, to impact more, to grow more. You don't slow down, you level up. Legacy also changes how you view failure. When your focus is on lifestyle, failure feels like a setback because it delays your ability to enjoy life. But when your focus is on legacy, failure becomes part of the process. It becomes something you learn from, something that strengthens you. Because you understand that building something meaningful requires resilience. Your daily habits are also shaped by this mindset. Lifestyle-driven habits are often centered around convenience and comfort. Legacy-driven habits are centered around growth and discipline. You choose actions that align with your long-term goals, even if they are difficult in the short term. You invest in yourself, in your skills, in your mindset, because you know that these investments will pay off over time. Another important aspect is impact. Legacy is not just about personal success, it's about how your success affects others. It's about creating opportunities, inspiring people, and leaving a positive mark. When you focus on legacy, you start to think about how your actions influence those around you. You become more intentional with your choices because you understand that your life is not just about you. This mindset also brings a sense of responsibility. You begin to see your potential as something you are obligated to fulfill. Not in a negative way, but in a purposeful way. You realize that you have the ability to create something meaningful, and that responsibility drives you. Take action. It pushes you to maximize your potential rather than settling for comfort. Time becomes more valuable when you think about legacy. You become more aware of how you spend it because you understand that every moment is an opportunity to build or waste. You start to prioritize activities that contribute to your growth and your goals. You become more intentional with your time, and that intentionality leads to greater productivity and progress. Another key element is patience. Building a legacy takes time. It requires sustained effort over years, sometimes decades. This long-term perspective helps you stay committed even when progress is slow. You understand that meaningful results do not happen overnight, and you are willing to put in the work required to achieve them. Legacy also requires vision. You need to have a clear idea of what you want to build and why it matters. This vision acts as a guide, helping you make decisions and stay focused. It gives you direction and purpose, which are essential for maintaining motivation over the long term. Discipline becomes non-negotiable in this mindset. You cannot build something meaningful without consistent effort. Discipline ensures that you continue to take action even when it's difficult. It keeps you aligned with your goals and prevents you from drifting toward comfort and distraction. Another aspect is growth. A legacy mindset pushes you to continuously improve. You are not satisfied with staying the same. You are always looking for ways to become better. This commitment to growth ensures that you are constantly evolving and increasing your capacity to create impact. The people you surround yourself with also become more important. When you are focused on legacy, you seek out individuals who share your mindset, who challenge you, and who support your growth. You understand that your environment influences your behavior, and you intentionally choose to be around people who elevate you. Another important factor is resilience. Building a legacy is not easy, and there will be challenges along the way. Resilience allows you to keep going despite these challenges. It helps you maintain your focus and continue making progress, even when things get tough. You also develop a different relationship with rewards. Instead of seeking immediate gratification, you learn to delay it. You understand that the most meaningful rewards come from long-term effort. This ability to delay gratification is a key component of success and is essential for building a legacy. Another aspect is authenticity. A true legacy is built on who you are, not just what you achieve. It reflects your values, your principles, and your character. This authenticity makes your impact more meaningful and lasting. You also begin to think about sustainability. A legacy is not something that disappears when you stop working. It's something that continues. This requires building systems, creating value, and developing things that can last beyond your direct involvement. Another key element is contribution. Legacy is about giving, not just receiving. It's about using your skills, your knowledge, and your resources to make a difference. This focus on contribution adds depth and meaning to your work. You also become more intentional with your decisions. Every choice you make is evaluated based on whether it aligns with your long-term goal. This intentionality helps you stay on track and avoid distractions. Another important factor is perseverance. Building something meaningful requires sustained effort over time. Perseverance ensures that you continue to push forward, even when progress is slow or obstacles arise. You also develop a sense of purpose. This purpose drives your actions and gives meaning to your work. It helps you stay motivated and focused, even in challenging times. Another aspect is accountability. You hold yourself responsible for your actions and your progress. This accountability ensures that you stay committed to your goals and continue to move forward. You also learn to embrace the process. Instead of focusing solely on the end result, you find value in the journey. This mindset makes the work more enjoyable and sustainable. Another key element is adaptability. As you build your legacy, you will encounter changes and challenges. Being able to adapt ensures that you can continue making progress despite these changes. You also develop a long-term perspective. You understand that success is not about quick wins, but about sustained effort over time. This perspective helps you stay patient and committed. Another important factor is focus. You concentrate your energy on what truly matters, avoiding distractions and unnecessary activities. This focus allows you to make meaningful progress. You also become more disciplined with your habits. Your daily actions align with your goals, creating a consistent pattern of progress. Another aspect is self-awareness. You understand your strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to improve and grow. You also develop a strong work ethic. You are willing to put in the effort required to achieve your goals, regardless of how difficult it may be. Another key element is determination. You are committed to your vision and willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. You also learn to manage your time effectively. You prioritize important tasks and use your time wisely. Another important factor is confidence. You believe in your ability to achieve your goals and build something meaningful. You also develop a sense of responsibility for your future. You take ownership of your actions and their outcomes. Another aspect is persistence. You continue to push forward, even when faced with challenges. You also learn to stay focused on your goals, avoiding distractions and maintaining your direction. Another key element is commitment. You are dedicated to your vision and willing to put in the effort required to achieve it. You also develop a mindset of continuous improvement. You are always looking for ways to grow and become better. Another important factor is resilience. You are able to bounce back from setbacks and continue moving forward. You also learn to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Another aspect is discipline. You consistently take action toward your goals, regardless of how you feel. You also develop a strong sense of purpose, which drives your actions and keeps you focused. Another key element is focus. You concentrate your energy on what truly matters, avoiding distraction. You also learn to manage your energy effectively, ensuring that you can sustain your effort over time. Another important factor is patience. You understand that building something meaningful takes time. You also develop a mindset of long-term thinking, focusing on what will matter in the future. Another aspect is determination. You are committed to your goals and willing to put in the effort required to achieve them. You also learn to stay consistent, taking action every day toward your goals. Another key element is resilience. You are able to overcome obstacles and continue moving forward. You also develop a strong work ethic, which allows you to outwork others and achieve your goals. Another important factor is focus. You concentrate your energy on what truly matters, avoiding distractions. You also learn to stay disciplined, taking action regardless of how you feel. Another aspect is commitment. You are dedicated to your goals and willing to put in the effort required to achieve them. You also develop a mindset of growth, constantly seeking to improve and become better. Another key element is perseverance. You continue to push forward, even when faced with challenges. You also learn to stay focused on your goals, maintaining your direction and avoiding distraction. Another important factor is determination. You are committed to your vision and willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. You also develop a strong sense of purpose, which drives your actions and keeps you motivated. Another aspect is discipline. You consistently take action toward your goals, regardless of how you feel. You also learn to manage your time effectively, ensuring that you can make progress toward your goals. Another key element is resilience. You are able to bounce back from setbacks and continue moving forward. You also develop a mindset of continuous improvement, always seeking to grow and become better. Another important factor is focus. You concentrate your energy on what truly matters, avoiding distraction. You also learn to stay committed to your goals, maintaining your direction and consistency.